right, good evening. It's Sunday night, and we know when it's Sunday night, that means it's Sunday night service. And I am Dani Williamson. This is clearly not Dr. Chris Motley. This is Dr. Derek Myers. Oh my goodness. And I'm so excited. For those of you all that don't know Dr. Myers, he is a chiropractor, and he practiced with me. Well, we were at Cool Springs Family Medicine together, and then we were over at Integrated Family Medicine together, and now he's in Ohio. And we are talking fatty liver disease tonight, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, as well as fatty liver and the epidemic that we are having right now in the world, not just the United States, right? Right. And he's got a really cool story that y'all will find out soon about on into this. But as soon as you get logged on, hit your heart buttons, hit your like button, share it, all the things that you're supposed to do. And I'm going to do that right now as we're doing it. Share it, start a watch party. There we are right there. Somebody's already shared it. So share it, do all that. Hit your buttons as soon as you get on so we know, because we can tell when you're on. And if you can't hear us, then we need to know that. But listen, let me tell you, the liver is the largest organ, really, pretty much one of the largest organs in the body, right? It has over 500 functions, the liver does.
It's very complicated.
It is very complicated. It pumps over 2 liters of blood a minute through it, right? It metabolizes food, toxins, your supplements, your alcohol, which we're going to talk about, alcohol fatty liver, non-alcohol fatty liver. And I want you to know, cheers, this is clean crafted wine. And this is an exact pour. This is 5 ounces of wine, which is what is recommended that you drink. No more than this, really, a night. And we're going to talk about that, but I want you to see that before I take a drink of it. That is 5 ounces of wine right there. Do you know that over 40,000 deaths every year in the United States are from liver disease? And the numbers are rising. They're rising drastically as, guess what else rises? Obesity, metabolic syndromes, obesity, type 2 diabetes. The rates are going up. We are almost at an epidemic over here.
And they parallel. So
you bet they do.
I mean, it's almost year for year. You can see the rise go with it.
Yes. It's really sad and it's scary. But non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which they say NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is characterized by fatty infiltration of hepatocytes, right? Which are the main cells in the liver, right? In those of us that consume less than 20 grams a day, which is less than 2 grams of wine. 2 glasses of wine, 20 grams of wine a day, or 20 grams of alcohol a day for females, and 30 grams or less for males. Right. Now, that's not much wine.
It's not.
It's maybe 1.5 glasses, because this is 14.76, I think, grams of alcohol right here. So what are hepatocytes? Those are the main cells in the liver. It makes up 80% of the mass of the liver, which is right over here on the right-hand side, 80% of it. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is the most common chronic liver disease in the West. Now, this is not caused from alcohol. This one isn't, okay? It is different than alcohol fatty liver disease, which actually looks very similar, though, when you're looking under the slides and the pathologist is looking.
Just because it's not alcohol doesn't mean it's also not self-induced.
Exactly, correct.
Big point there that, what's going in the mouth is contributing to this. It just may not be alcohol causing it.
That's exactly right. And we're going to talk about that, some of the risk factors for it, which we've already mentioned, obesity and type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes. Pre-diabetes, they say, that's even bigger than diabetes, actually.
It's awful, especially in kids.
He hasn't even seen my notes. I've got all this.
But it used to, it wasn't even called, it was called adult onset diabetes when I was a kid.
Right.
Because they didn't have any kids, and now they call it.
They didn't have fat kids, and they didn't have diabetes, and now these kids have liver disease as well. They have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
1 in 5, 1 in 6 kids is pre-diabetic.
That's exactly right.
It's appalling.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease affects an estimated 10 to 30% of the people in the countries, in the world, as well as 58 to 74% of obese people in the world. Okay? So right there, more than 4.9 million cases of liver disease are diagnosed each year in the United States. 5 million cases of liver disease are diagnosed every year in the United States, more than. Over 40,000 deaths from liver disease annually in the United States.
And it's growing.
It's growing. It's growing. And we're going to talk about that. The top cause of death in liver disease is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So these are people who aren't even alcoholics.
Right. And there's some reasons for that too. You know, one of them is this can go undiagnosed and you just don't know. There's no symptoms.
That's right.
You can
There's
be
no
completely
symptoms.
asymptomatic.
That's right.
For a majority of your life. And I'll talk about that when we get to my personal experience with all this. So
just 2.5 drinks a day will produce a fatty liver, but not cause symptoms initially. That was my next, and it doesn't cause any symptoms. This is interesting. When hepatic steatosis is accompanied by hepatic inflammation, so you have liver fat, fatty liver, accompanied by liver inflammation, that's a condition that is called non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH. I just couldn't wait to say that. I just couldn't wait to say it. You know, I've had this Nashville shirt for a long time, and anyway, it was not my idea to wear this tonight. Well, nobody suggested it. Somebody just said that's not when I was going over this presentation yesterday, they said something about NASH. Yeah, not the good NASH that we live in. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got a sweatshirt. This is NASH. So this is non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Not a good thing right there, okay? By the year 2025, people, which is in 5 years, right? 25 million people will develop NASH. 25 million, which is the third most common indication for liver transplant in the United States.
Yeah. So
third reason to have a liver transplant is from non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Say that 5 times after you've had 2 glasses of wine in you, right? Hard to do, right? 30% of the population, I've literally had that one drink. Population are estimated to have NAFLD, 30% of the population. 70% people with NAFLD have a 70% higher overall mortality rate than others. So they die.
And
quicker.
What is it? It's 25% of the people with NAFLD convert to NASH, to NASH.
That's right.
And then that's when you start to develop more serious problems. And
that's right. So NASH then, so NAFLD, fatty liver, just straight up fatty liver, is reversible. Right. NASH is reversible, but it may progress to hepatic fibrosis, so stiffening, right, of the liver, cirrhosis, or hepatocellular carcinoma. And those are not reversible. Cirrhosis is not reversible. NAFLD is reversible. NASH is reversible, right? Cirrhosis, fibrosis, those things are not reversible. No. So this is up to us. This all boils down to the same redneck thing I say every day. What goes down the pie hole will either heal you or kill you. It is as simple as that. Yeah. As simple as that. So how does non-alcoholic fatty liver disease differ from fatty liver disease? Alcoholic fatty liver disease, right? Well, clearly alcohol fatty liver disease is related to one thing.
Alcohol consumption.
That right there, alcohol consumption. Consistent alcohol consumption, not necessarily excess alcohol consumption, because a glass and a half of wine I don't consider excess, but if you do that 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it builds up. And that's the thing, it builds up in the fat in the liver, right?
I mean, the liver, and it's a very complicated organ as far as function, but in simple terms, it's a filter. Really,
it is a huge filter.
If you think about it in that concept, what you're putting in your body has to get filtered out somewhere, somehow.
That's exactly right.
If the liver's filtering that out, it's going to get to a point where it's going to back up, clog up. It's not going to function. You're going to screw with your normal metabolic processes. So
that's exactly right. And they say 40% of people with moderate alcohol intake, designed as 1 to 2 drinks a day, that's it, also show changes associated with fatty liver disease. And, there's a whole lot of people who drink I mean, I drink a glass of wine or a glass and a half on Sunday nights. I drink sometimes on Saturday, but during the week, I really don't ever drink anything.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't. I have to be on my A game, and I'm not on my A game if I drink 2 glasses of wine at night. And I, as a single mom, owner of a business, seeing patients who are paying me, I have to be on my A game. Okay. Alcoholic fatty liver disease is reversible.
Yes.
Well, how do you reverse it? There's a pill for that, isn't there?
No.
No, there's not a pill. There's only one way to reverse alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Remove the stimulant.
Remove what's causing it. And that's one of the hardest things that people will do. Change your diet, stop your drinking. Those are 2 very difficult things, but it is reversible if you remove the stimulant. Okay.
And it's like everything else. I mean, sugar is,
that's right.
We're talking about sugar,
well,
obesity,
we're going to talk
diabetes,
about sugar.
And all that plays to it. And there's a social aspect to that too. I mean, so much of our culture revolves around food and drink, and all the social settings as well. So
that's exactly right.
It's certainly not an easy thing to do.
Alcohol or ethanol is the trigger, clearly, for alcoholic fatty liver disease. In an average 750 milliliter bottle of wine, there's approximately 74 grams of alcohol per bottle. A standard pour is 5 ounces. I still haven't had a drink yet. So this is still 5 ounces right here. There's 5 ounces times 5 glasses in a bottle of 750 milliliter wine. So there's 5 ounces, there's 5 glasses of wine in a bottle if you're doing a standard pour. If you take 73.96 and divide it by 5, that gives you 14.79 grams of alcohol a day. So it's barely over a glass of wine, barely over a glass of wine that equals 20 grams.
And most
for
restaurants,
women,
they'll pour 6 ounce and then they'll ask you, do you want a 9 ounce pour?
Yes, they ask you for
it as well. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so, I mean, and that's just new that they've started doing that over the last couple of years. And who doesn't say, yeah, sure, give me the 9 ounces. Why not? Right? Well, now that I know how much alcohol is in a glass of wine, and I really didn't know that. So in every glass of wine, 0.6 ounces of this right here, 5 ounces, is pure alcohol. It's fascinating. And when I measured it out, I was like, okay, well, normally I put up a little bit more right there. So we're not drinking much alcohol to create fatty liver disease over here. Without exception, the researchers and the experts recommend that patients who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease consume no alcohol at all, is what the research shows. 0. There was a study published in Clinical Gastroenterology found that drinking even a modest amount of alcohol makes it impossible for you to reverse fatty liver if you don't cut it out. Okay, we got a healthy liver, and then it gets into hepatic steatosis, right? So a fatty liver, that's what steatosis is. And then you get into steatohepatitis, which is inflammation of the liver. And then you roll right on into liver cirrhosis.
Right. And there's a point of no return.
Slow, that's right. And cirrhosis is no return. Then you're on the transplant list, which we're getting ready to talk about. What are the risks of fatty liver? Obesity. Decreased testosterone is a risk. And how many men and women have no testosterone?
Right.
Interesting. Sleep apnea, hepatitis C, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Well, that's basically an insulin problem.
Right.
I mean, so that makes perfect sense. Hypothyroidism, celiac disease, rapid weight loss from surgery, because when you have surgery and you lose weight that fast, you release those fat cells, right? Diabetes type 2, hypertriglyceridemia, high triglycerides, insulin resistance, mitochondrial dysfunction, and oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is huge because the liver, right, makes glutathione, which is the major antioxidant over there, and vitamin C. When you have oxidative stress, you're just getting clogged up arteries, that's right. Some researchers say that fatty liver is a feature of metabolic syndrome. So what is metabolic syndrome? We're going to talk about this, then we're going to share his story right here. I said 10 minutes, a little bit, 5 minutes over there. So metabolic syndrome is when any 3 of these 5 conditions are present in a patient, okay, or are met. This is your waist circumference over 40 inches for men or 35 inches for women. How many women have over 35-inch waist? Many do. Blood pressure on average over 130 over 85. That's 2. Your fasting triglycerides over 150. I see it every day. You're fasting HDL less than 40.
So
I see that every day.
Yeah.
You want your HDL, your healthy cholesterol, healthy, higher than 40. I prefer it over 60. And you want your triglycerides less than 150. And then your fasting blood sugar greater than 100. Well, I can't tell you how many people come in with fasting blood sugar greater than 100. They're pre-diabetics. Any 3 of 5 of those has to be present, and you have metabolic syndrome. And then you are at a higher risk for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's fascinating. And then there are other things that create non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that put you on the transplant list. And he has a direct story with this. Tell him what happened.
So a number of years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, my father, I got a call. I was living in Nashville at Franklin at the time, and I got a call that Dad had gone to the hospital. And what had happened was he had a disease called Wilson's disease, which is very rare. So there's always these little weird ones. So Wilson's disease is extremely rare, even in mostly in kids under the age of 20. So it's really rare for somebody in their late 50s, 60s to be getting that. So
tell them what it is, though. What is Wilson's
okay, so Wilson's disease is the liver's inability to filter copper or process copper appropriately. Copper builds up,
yes.
Toxicity,
yes,
cirrhosis, fibrosis, and now you got,
yes,
transplant. So the liver's a very durable. I learned a lot.
Yes.
So this is why a nerve, muscle, and joint guy knows about liver stuff, because this was quite an ordeal. This was a several year process, and we can talk for hours about that. That was pretty crazy, but the liver is a very durable organ, and so it can tolerate a lot. But because it's a durable organ, you can go for a long time before you have symptoms, before you realize something's gone wrong.
Right.
My dad
right.
had preached a sermon. He had given some kind of talk or commencement or something. He done all these things and doesn't remember it. He has no recollection of it.
Wow.
And my mom found him, I guess, from what I remember, she found him trying to rip the sink out of the wall to turn the water off, and was like, something's not right. And so took him to the hospital and went through a bunch of rigmarole, a bunch of stuff. And actually it was a doctor here in Franklin that saved his life with chelation therapy, Dr. Reed, who's no longer here. I'm not sure where he is now, but it kept him alive long enough to get him to Memphis for a transplant. And
wow.
And that was pretty intense. And they used this thing called a MELD score as well on the transplant list. So how
long was he on the transplant list?
Not super long, because he was by the time he got on the list and they got a diagnosis and figured out what it was, Dr. Reed did, he was so far down that MELD score. I mean, I think it's either 15 or 19 when you can get on the list.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's at 24 or 25, you have like a 10% chance of living.
Wow.
His was almost 40 when he got his transplant. He literally had hours to live.
And he had no idea he had Wilson's disease.
Not a clue.
How old was your dad when he
was
went
almost
through
60.
this? Almost 60, and his liver failed.
Yeah. And so how long had that been going on?
Did he turn jaundice?
Yeah,
Did
he got
yellow?
jaundice. And that all that stuff happened very quickly, because there's a point where, and this isn't just liver, any tissue in the body, there's a point where it's like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm done. And it quits.
Yes.
Or, failure, or
that's exactly right.
Nerve damage, or regardless of what it is, there's a point of no return. The body will only tolerate so much. And so the liver, it took as much as it could take, and finally everything just kind of came at once. So, I mean, that was quite an eye-opening, and with my background in biochemistry prior to what I do now, and plenty of time sitting in hospitals and whatnot to read, learning about the chemistry of the liver was, fascinating how much stuff it does. I mean, it produces cholesterol.
Yes.
So all your hormones are derived from cholesterol.
Yes.
So, I mean, all of the different things that touch this process, or that this process can affect. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, I guess it's not shocking knowing what we're putting in our bodies these days, but
well, yes, and we're getting ready to talk about that,
crazy.
The risk, the lifestyle risk, prescription risk. What else? What raises your risk for fatty liver disease or, failure? Things, corticosteroids, steroids, right? Methotrexate, which basically shuts your immune system down we use it for autoimmune disease. Tamoxifen, which blocks estrogen, stops your estrogen. It's for mainly people who've had breast cancer or some sort of cancer, right? Elevated iron levels. Now, this is interesting, and I need to really focus more on this. When I get a patient's levels back that show their ferritin levels elevated or their iron level is elevated, that can be correlated, but not always. 20 to 30% of patients with fatty liver disease have elevated serum ferritin levels. I learned that this week. I didn't know that. So that's a big deal. That's another reason you don't take iron unless you know you need iron,
right?
Because iron builds up.
Toxicity.
You bet it.
Toxicity
you
worse
bet.
than deficiency.
You bet it is. That's a good line. Toxicity is worse than deficiency. I love it. Those are some of your prescription risks. What are the lifestyle risks? Well, quite frankly, just not getting off your ass. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Move. When you're Derek Myers, I quote it, motion is lotion, but I quote this all the time from him. When you stop moving, you stop moving.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I say it all the time to patients. This is a chiropractor saying that. And it's the same with your liver. When you stop moving, your liver stops performing its 500 functions.
Right. The body responds to the stress you put on.
You bet it does. Our bodies are designed for that.
It responds. And if it doesn't need to do anything because you're sitting, doing nothing, drinking beer, eating pizza every night, guess what's going to happen? It's going to respond to that in a way to try to protect itself and put you in a disease process.
That's right. It is.
What you put in is what you get out.
Well, garbage in equals garbage out. It is as simple as that. I mean, you cannot. Dr. Mark Hyman says what's at the end of your fork is way more powerful than what's at your pill bottle. What's at the bottom of your pill bottle? It's simple.
Especially for this, because there's no
pill for this. There's no pill to treat this.
The only way to treat this is once he gets bad enough, you get a transplant. So
you get on the liver transplant list.
A $1 million life-changing, life-altering, holy crap experience, make some changes, because I promise you, that is way worse than whatever you got to do nutritionally to fix that.
You bet. I have a friend who I see as a patient of mine, and he's a drummer and all, and a young guy, and he was in his, I don't know, maybe late 20s. I can't quote this. Might have been in his 30s. You know him too, and his liver failed, just up and failed on him. And he's fine now. I mean, I checked his liver enzymes. I mean, and they're a little bit elevated, but but it's probably been 10 years or so. I mean, and he just had liver failure, but it didn't happen overnight. These things don't happen suddenly. They build up, especially fatty liver disease, because like we said, there's no symptoms until there are. And then by the time there are, many times it's too late. It's too late to reverse it.
The diagnostics, another thing too, the diagnostics for this, there's no real good test.
No.
You can take a blood test and say, oh, my liver enzymes
Your liver enzymes are elevated.
But,
and then we can do an ultrasound,
right,
which I do many times with patients, and they
look
look at it and they see the fatty liver, and they'll say, yeah, you got a fatty liver, you got a little liver cyst over here, you got a little fatty liver. It's no big deal. I cannot tell you how many times the radiologists say, and then the primary care, it's no big deal. Everybody's got a fatty liver.
Everybody's got a little
No, they don't.
But then how do you quantify that?
That's right.
On that to know where you're at and what that is. Not only that, how do you know that that's where you're at in NAFLD versus NASH?
That's right.
Like, how do you know at what point you are? Is it fibrosis?
Well, liver biopsy. Well,
yeah,
and that's not perfect either.
All right, that's a subjective test also.
That's
and there's inherent risk with biopsy. I mean, they're poking a thing in and taking stuff out of a vital organ. So there's inherent risks with that too, and with some subjective interpretation on those. So there's not a really good way just to be like you do with blood sugar. Oh, your blood sugars are way up, you got to cut back. You may be diabetic. That's a lot easier to diagnose.
That's exactly right. Yeah, fatty liver's hard. We look at the liver enzymes, and I say, look here, your liver enzymes are elevated. We need to start some milk thistle. We need to get some curcumin in you. We need to do a liver detox. Things like that. And we're going to recheck it in 3 months. If it's still elevated there, then I send you for an ultrasound. Now, and that's not even my job anymore. I'm not primary care anymore, but many times people don't have a primary care doc, and then I'm stuck with a liver elevated over here going, oh, my Lord. Then I send you over to gastroenterology. I just get you to Elizabeth Lindsay and say, let her do it. And she biopsies. I had somebody the other day last year thought had autoimmune hepatitis. They didn't, they didn't. But anyway, they had, just their liver enzymes more than tripled on them. It was unbelievable, but it got her to her. So again, there's no perfect diagnostic testing. We can watch the numbers, but the numbers aren't perfect. So, okay, lifestyle, lazy, not exercising, overweight, Type 2 diabetes, and I say lazy, and I use that lovingly because sometimes I don't exercise, but I'm talking consistent laziness, not getting up and moving your body.
Everybody has an off day, but don't have an off year.
That's exactly right. High fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is the new smoking. It is as simple as that.
Sugar.
It's just nothing but sugar. That's right.
I don't care what kind of label you put on it. Sugar.
You bet it is. Choline deficiency. Isn't that something? Choline deficiency is huge for fatty liver. And where's your most choline? In your food. Your eggs, which eggs are quite inflammatory.
Right.
So you can take choline. That is one of the big supplements that you can take that they do recommend, right? And then obesity as well. So these are all some lifestyle risks, right? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to move your body. You're going to decrease the fat in your diet, decrease the sugar, decrease your triglycerides. You're going to lose 10% of your body weight.
And by decreased fat, decrease the bad fats.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the bad fats. Yes.
Want the good fats in.
You bet.
Cut the bad fats out. So your good omega-3s and all that. You want to keep avocados, all that stuff.
That's right.
The other stuff, the canola oils and all that crap.
That's exactly right. Right. Fructose is a key player in developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. There was a huge study in 2013 that proved that, showed that. And there's your diabetics, your pre-diabetics, your fructose, your people who go through Sonic for their half price, for crying out loud, happy hour, soft drink happy hour. I used to do it. Well, I wouldn't even drink soft drink. I drank those slushies. Oh my gosh. They were so good. People would be like, look at her, she's a fake liar. Because now I've got my license plate that says gut gal. I got to be real careful.
I've got a chicken fast food joint right across, like right out my front door across the parking lot. And I sit and I look out those windows every day. The line's going through there. And I'm going, and in the summertime, when you open that door, you can smell that grease coming in. And I'm just, whoa. It's not a good place to be.
I mean, I'm telling you, if I lived to buy a chicken place, I'd be in trouble. Okay, so what are we going to eat? Okay, you're going to move your body, right? We're going to change our diet. We're going to lose about 10% of our body weight if we need to.
Right.
And it's not just all body weight. So what we're talking about is this fat around here, this adipose tissue around here. When you think about that fat, if you just pulled your shirt up right now, and if you look down, and if you've done lapped over there, right? Well, then you've got a fatty liver in the making if you don't already have one.
And
that's the dangerous fat around the middle.
Visceral fat.
The visceral fat.
The fat that's around your organs.
So when it's around the middle, it's around your liver. It's around your gallbladder. It's around your appendix, your stomach, your bowels, right?
Yeah. Sucking the life out of them.
Sucking the life out. Okay, so what are we going to eat? Well, they've had a lot of studies that show that people who eat a vegetarian diet have less fibrosis than those who eat meat. Now, I'm not vegetarian, but the studies also show that a Mediterranean diet, which is what I recommend, have for 10 years, I will never stop recommending a Mediterranean diet, where you have more fruits, vegetables, legumes, grains, fish, olive oils, low in meat, and very low, if not any, dairy products is actually where it's at. There was a randomized controlled trial that showed Mediterranean diet significantly decreased hepatic steatosis in those with NAFLD. Simple as that, a Mediterranean lifestyle. I'm telling you, you can't get a better diet. If you don't know what a Mediterranean diet is, then good Lord, Google it. Ask Siri, she'll tell you. Ask Alexa, she'll tell you. And then she'll tell you every book known to man that was written on a Mediterranean diet. I'm telling you, follow the Wheat Belly diet. Wheat Belly, Dr. Bill Davis, who wrote Wheat Belly, is a great book on Mediterranean diet, as is Virgin Diet Talk. It's all, cutting out the top 7 foods. Mediterranean diet. If you're going to eat grains, you're going to eat whole grains, unprocessed, minimally processed, right? Whole grains. Oats are one of the big ones because oats help with fiber. Oats also help with fatty liver. And quinoa is technically a seed. Oats and quinoa are definitely the best on this diet. Whole grains over refined grains always. Oatmeal's particularly great because it reduces LDL. And remember, LDL is one of your cholesterol markers. also known as the bad type of cholesterol. Green vegetables. This is common sense, people. Common sense. We don't have to talk about this forever. Green vegetables, spinach, bok choy. I mean, I've been preaching this for 10 years. Your cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Those are all cruciferous vegetables, which guess what? They also reduce the amount of fat that the liver absorbs. That's why we recommend those for fatty liver, right? That's why this ultra clear detox right here, for those of you, I don't think you can see it real well there. Yeah, ultra clear right there. That's the 10-day liver detox that we do in the office. That is nothing but loaded cruciferous vegetable powder in that, and loaded with cruciferous vegetables on the actual detox. Dr. Myers knows we've done the detox. I do it twice a year, and they recommend doing something like that 2-3 times a year. Some sort of good liver detox. Beans, legumes, they're good for your heart. The more you eat them, the better your liver is. The better your liver is.
I knew where that was going.
Chickpeas, lentils, green peas, kidney beans, black beans, pinto beans, navy beans, and peanuts. If you're not sensitive to those, they are amazing sources of fiber. And when you get that fiber in there, they're also complex carbohydrates, right? And the protein, and they help cholesterol and your blood sugar levels balance out, because they take longer to break down and to turn into sugar.
If the body's got to work harder to do it, it's expending more energy.
You bet it is.
As opposed, and that's when you see some of these things about high caloric, like highly dense caloric foods.
Yes.
You know, and you can eat a lot of it, but you're just getting massive amounts of calories. It's not very nutrient dense, so your body's got to work harder to get what it needs, which is what it's supposed to do.
That's right. Walnuts, tree nuts. They have tons of omega-3 fatty acids in them, right? Which improve liver fat levels and HDL levels. Remember, HDL, we want it above 40. Below 40 is one marker of metabolic syndrome there. The World Health, I don't know what they say, something about nuts over here, that eating walnuts improve liver function in one group of patients. That's great. Your good fats, right? Healthy fats on a plant-based or a Mediterranean diet designed to help liver disease are excellent for you. So polyunsaturated fats, your avocados, your flax seeds, your nuts, your oils, things like that, your healthy oils, coconut oil, things like that. Coffee. Oh my gosh. Those of you that follow me on Instagram, I don't know if I shared this on Facebook. Thank goodness for coffee. Let me tell you, there's other coffee out there, but this is what I got this week. Purity sent this to me in the mail to try, because they are 100% organic. The bag is packaged where it doesn't do anything bad either. But we're not going to talk about this coffee, but drinking, listen to this. There's been research that shows, preliminary studies suggest that drinking coffee may reduce non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, including fibrosis of the liver. Up to 4 cups of coffee a day. There are several mechanisms by which this may occur. Well, number one, if it's a good, clean, organic coffee, it's an antioxidant. It's an antioxidant.
Yeah. Now, coffee's a plant, so what are you doing to the plant before you consume it? So you know your source, and make sure you got to know your source.
You need a good source, because coffee is loaded with pesticides and chemicals, the way they process it. It's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, and it has anti-fibrotic effects. So, it's not going to cause a stiff liver. Coffee. Well, maybe I love coffee. That's the best part of this whole thing right here. But drink good coffee. I'm talking the Dregs coffee that you get at Walmart and wherever, which I grew up on, which was the Folgers, the Maxwell House. Those coffees are the Dregs. That's the leftover bad. That's like the bad corn that they feed to all the animals with the mold on it. That's what they do with that coffee. They get the bad stuff. They don't use that for the high price coffee. And what were we just talking about, the millennials? What did you say? Yeah. And this was so great. You just said this.
So, there's a lot of jokes going around, and people give millennials a hard time and whatever. But one of the things that I noticed as a healthcare practitioner about that generation is they don't mind spending $3 or $4 on a cup of coffee, because they know they're not putting crap in their body.
That's right.
And then, people of my generation driving through McDonald's or whatever and just getting whatever happens to pop through the, 99-cent menu or something. Yeah. So, that's pretty cool. That, I mean, the idea of eating healthy and becoming healthier and things like, but you think about simple things. You're not gonna, nobody's going to make 1,000 changes all at one time in a day.
No.
But if you can start with something, if you can start with your first morning cup of coffee,
that's right,
and start your day off right with that, and just keep adding things as you're able. But I'm pretty excited about the coffee part.
I am too. And Jenna, Jenna, I don't know if it's Jenna or Fisk, Miss Fisk. Right now, I'm testing this Purity coffee, which I love, but it's expensive. It's $20 a bag, and it is certified organic. And that's great coffee. But let me tell you who else has amazing coffee is Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has certified organic rainforest coffee, Ethiopian coffee, Colombian coffee. They got a whole aisle of organic coffee, and it's inexpensive. It's good coffee. So I love Trader Joe's. I like any organic coffee that you can find. Well, not any, but I mean, as long as it's organic, then that's what we're concerned about. So your diet's going to be a Mediterranean diet. Because remember, we don't have a pill to fix this. There is no pill for this ill. This is simply get off your butt, move your butt, start your workout regimen, anything it could be. Move your body. Eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, right? Decrease stress, have community, those things. But there are some supplements that will help you. These are supplements, not substitutes. You cannot continue to eat at the drive-through Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Sonic, all of that, and take enough pills to fix this. You can't do it.
You told me one time you can't out-supplement a crappy lifestyle.
No, you can't.
I stole that. I use it all the time.
You do? Yeah. Okay, well, I use your when you stop moving thing. And when you stop moving, you literally stop moving. Like you don't poop either. Yeah. You poop better when you move. Down, yeah, it's fine. You got to move. And you guys know, if you're watching me on Instagram, I'm doing my boxing now, which he told me 10 years ago. He said, Dani, you need to be boxing and kickboxing. Yeah.
It's a great exercise.
I just started. I'll be 54 on Saturday. So 6 days, I'm going to be 54. Oh my gosh. And I'm just now getting started on it, but I absolutely love it. But vitamins and minerals. So, because you all know I'm a big fan of really high quality nutraceuticals. So big studies. There's some studies that show that vitamin C and vitamin E are antioxidant. Well, we know that they're
right kind of vitamin E, though,
so this vitamin C is an antioxidant. We know it helps. It helps. But vitamin C, Anato E, he just said to me.
I can't see that.
Yeah, right there.
Let them see that thing.
There we go. Anato E from Designs for Health. So we were just talking. He goes, have you heard of Designs for Health's new vitamin E called Anato E? And I went over here. I said, yeah, I take it every single day. This is my bottle right here. So vitamin E is an antioxidant. And what we know about that is it helps mop up free radicals, right? But the big thing about vitamin E is that it interrupts fibrosis in the liver. So it decreases that stiff liver, right? 300 international units is what they're recommending with or without vitamin C, period. So, I mean, if you can take it with it, that's great. Absolutely. But Anato E is a new form of vitamin E that really Designs for Health has led the charge on the research on tocotrienols.
Amazing job.
You can talk more about it, more educated than I can, most likely.
Well, it's I'm not going to get into biochemistry here too much. But the kind of vitamin E that you typically buy in the store is an alpha tocopherol, and it's not nearly as effective or active in the body as some of the other forms of vitamin E. And there's several different forms of vitamin E's out there.
Yes,
there are. So just because you hear vitamin B3 or whatever, there's that's niacin. It could be niacinamide, hexaniacinate. It could be all these different types of niacin. It doesn't mean they all work the same. Same with vitamin E, and this is kind of a new thing. But I know that there was a study with this that they did.
Yes.
It was 1 month, I think.
I think it was 1 month.
1 month study.
It was 1 month.
17% reduction in LDLs.
Yeah, and your bad cholesterol.
In your bad cholesterol just from taking that.
Yeah, vitamin E. I'm working on trying to get the head researcher on this, on the Anato E, which is a plant down in South America, is what it is. It's a beautiful plant. And it has the right form of delta and gamma tocotrienols, okay, which is different than tocopherols. And I can't get into all that because I don't understand all that. Okay, vitamin E, carnitine. And here I have carnitine in the office, and I never use it for this. Never had an idea. Carnitine is an amino acid, which we know. It plays a crucial role in the body's energy production. That's what I use it for, is for patients for energy. I combine it generally with D-ribose, and it works beautifully. But what it does is it slows down fatty liver progression. There have been some studies that found that L-carnitine works particularly well for diabetics.
Yes.
I didn't know that. For diabetics, L-carnitine, vitamin E. Now, you don't have to take all of these, but I'm going in what we know, what works in order of
right.
How good it works. What's the word?
Efficacy.
Efficacy. That's it. I went blank. Betaine, hydrochloric acid. Isn't that something? What it does, it's, well, hydrochloric acid, 20 grams a day. 20 grams a day. Okay. Is what they studied, but lower doses may be beneficial. Well, you know, this helps your stomach.
Yeah, right.
Process food better and break down food. Hydrochloric acid. Yes, you do.
Your stomach has to have acid. This is the thing that we get into a lot. You hear, I don't do a lot of gut health, but so I try not to have these arguments because it's slamming your head in the wall sometimes. But, you know, people take all these antacids.
That's right.
And like, well, you need acid to break the food down.
Yes, you do.
Your protein and your minerals are absorbing there. So all you're doing is killing that process. And then, you know, you hear about patients that say, well, I went and had a meatball sub and it was, you know, I threw it up 6 hours later, undigested.
Upchucking it and heartburn. That's right. It's undigested. That's right.
It's acid. It's lack of acid.
That's lack of acid. And betaine, hydrochloric acid is one of the things. Carnitine, vitamin E, as well as choline. And I don't have a choline supplement. So 250 to 1,000 milligrams a day of choline. And that was one of the big ones that they've studied. Fatty acids, omega-3s, right? 1 to 2 grams a day. That's your fish oil. Or how about just your fish in general? Yeah, eating really clean salmon, cold water fish, halibut, salmon, trout, those things. Inositol and choline combo were more effective together in the research. Right?
You can get a form of in B vitamins now. Some of these B vitamin, medical grade companies are making B vitamins that have inositol bound to their vitamin B3.
Yeah.
So you can get an inositol, hexaniacinate, and turn 2 supplements into 1.
Yeah, I actually think Be Active may have that with Zymogen, but I'm not sure. Pantethine, 600 milligrams a day will lower your triglycerides. This was a study from 2000, right? Well, we use a ton of pantethine every day with B5, B6 in the office, which works for your adrenals, gives you a tremendous amount of energy. Also works with anxiety. I mean, but this actually has 500 milligrams in just 1 tablet, and we take 3 of these a day. So you're getting 1,500 milligrams of pantethine in here, and then B5 as well. Milk thistle. One study showed that if you add in vitamin E plus milk thistle, your results were better. Well, milk thistle, which you can't see right here, is one of the best herbs that you can use. Look at that. You just can't see. It's terrible. The light is bad. To cleanse the liver. And that's one of the best things that we use. Milk thistle tea. You can drink milk thistle tea. Take milk thistle. Do a liver cleanse. We use MedCap's DPO from Zymogen, but it works beautifully. This Ultra Clear, the 10-day detox, this to me is the best way to do the whole thing right here, because you're eating a Mediterranean lifestyle. You're taking the vitamins that you need for your liver to convert toxins into, or fat soluble toxins into water soluble things that aren't toxins, or fat soluble products into things that are water soluble. And you're getting all of your cruciferous vegetables and your turmeric and all the things.
Yeah, the turmeric
and your amino acids.
Fantastic. Yeah,
turmeric is a big deal. Calms down inflammation and increases circulation in the liver. Okay.
And specifically, it's the curcumin.
You bet.
And the turmeric is the root, and and you can buy a whole turmeric and whatnot. But if you see curcumin, that's the active ingredient in the turmeric root. That's kind of the workhorse.
That's right. So there's certain things, right? Things like L-carnitine, vitamin E, vitamin C, betaine, milk thistle, do a liver detox, and that's all great. But if you're going to continue to drink your wine 7 nights a week, or your vodka, or your gin, or whatever it is your poison is, it could be anything. If you're going to continue to not exercise, if you're going to go ahead and drive through the drive-through, or just don't cook at home because cooking is self-care, guaranteed it is, then you can't take enough pills to fix this. I'm sorry, you just can't. And I'd love to sell you a vitamin, but I'm not going to if you're not going to change your diet. And I end up dismissing patients and just saying, you know what, this isn't working. And everything I've asked you to do, you're not doing it. Because I know for a fact that gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, eggs and peanuts are the top 7 inflammatory foods in the country. And if you don't choose to eliminate those until we know what's going on, then that's on you. That's not on me.
Right.
You know, and you need to know your food sensitivities also, because I believe when you see it in black and white or red and green as it comes out, you know what it is you're eating that's inflaming your body, that's creating inflammation.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Not everybody has an egg sensitivity.
Right.
So if you don't have an egg sensitivity, then eat a few eggs, but don't go crazy.
I had a lady that had broccoli. Off the
Broccoli,
charts.
yeah.
I never heard of that.
Sometimes I have a broccoli sensitivity.
How in the world is broccoli in? Wow.
Do you know that 12.5 million, 1/3 of Americans, children and adolescents are obese? So we think we got a problem right now. You wait till 20 years from now.
And
because this generation of children is the first generation of children who are going to be in a casket before their parents are.
Yeah.
That's
the
solid truth. That is from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, released that information, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago. This generation is going to be buried and going to die before the parents. And the first time in the history of the United States are we going to bury our kids before we do us. I'm sorry. And that's all on you. That's on you. That's on me. That's on those of us who are feeding our kids what we're feeding them. Because guess what? You're the stinking parent. Griff's not going out and buying Cheetos, and he's not Ubering it out to Kroger and picking up, you know, horrible yogurt for you, or going through the Chick-fil-A line. You're bringing that home. I'm bringing that home. I'm not now because my kids are grown. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, I tell patients this, you know, I'm sorry. That's on you. If your kid is unhealthy, that's your fault. Because if those kids are not driving and they can't, and then they can drive off to Chick-fil-A when they want.
If your kid can't drive and he knows the fast food menu by heart,
that's your problem, because that kid wasn't born knowing that stuff. So. And we create their palate for them. We do. And they say, oh, he's picky. Well, who made the picky eater? You did. I have zero tolerance for it. 71 million Americans have high or bad cholesterol. 71 million. I mean, that's more than who voted in the last election. That's ridiculous. No, cirrhosis is the 12th leading cause of death in the United States.
So to that point, there was a projection done. They went from 2015 till I think it was 2017 or 18 about the projection of the increase in fatty liver. And if the projection stays and it stays on that path, 800,000 people in the span of 15 years from 2015 to 2030 will die from this process. 800,000 people will die from a 100% preventable lifestyle-based self-induced disease.
Unbelievable.
So, and like you said, I mean, what legacy are you leaving?
What are you leaving? That's exactly right. I just laughed out loud while he was talking. I didn't mean to. I wrote on here by accident, fatty liar disease. When I was typing this in, it says fatty liar. Maybe that's not a mistake, right? Yeah. Right? You're lying to me. Y'all are lying to me when you tell me you're not eating, you fatty liar. What else? What am I going to start? You got fatty liar disease. You got fatty liar disease. Anyway, you know, we got an epidemic. We're not teaching this in school. I wasn't taught in nurse practitioner school that we're on the verge of an epidemic over here. You know, we weren't taught about lifestyle changes and things like that. I mean, it's as simple as exactly what I teach every single day in the office, what we teach, you know, every day in the office. Eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, have community, 6 steps to healing. Simple as that. It really is. You got to change your diet. You got to change your lifestyle. Baby steps. Can't do it all at one time. Maybe you cut down to 1 glass of wine a day.
Take the low-hanging fruit. Find the easy one.
You bet. That's a great one. Take the low-hanging fruit. What's going to be the easiest thing? It's like when you're trying to get out of debt. Yeah. You pay off the smallest debt first, and it gives you a little bit of accomplishment.
That's right. Get a little bit of confidence and get on to the next one, and go get the next fight, and the next one, and the next one. Before you know it, you're living it.
Get the low-hanging fruit. That's my favorite. All right, guys, I'm challenging you that this week. Pick the low-hanging fruit. What's the easiest thing for you to do?
Pick a win
this week. Pick something that's going to give you a boost and make you feel good, because you know what? Life beats you down. It does. I mean, whether you are in a bad job, a bad marriage, a bad relationship, I mean,
just the input of everything,
everything,
social media,
everything,
and all the news, and
then you look at everybody's Facebook and Instagram, and they look so beautiful, and they've got a filter. I don't even know how to do the filters.
Get rid of the filter.
I don't know how to do a filter, so I don't know. What you see is what you get. Your dad did a video of my hair soaking wet, and then it was about 2 hours later, my hair was bigger. I mean, it was really funny. But anyway, tell us what's going on this week with you. So that's fatty liver. We're done with that. It's an epidemic. It's 100% controllable. Whether it's an alcohol fatty liver or whether it's a lifestyle fatty liver, it's in your hands if you're going to reverse it or not. Once it gets into cirrhosis, it's not reversible. And I have patients who are on the transplant list. I have one right now who's on the transplant list, and there's nothing I can do for him. Not one thing.
Place to be.
No. His is an alcohol fatty liver, and he chose not to stop drinking. And so now he's on a list, and he's probably got about 18 months to live if he doesn't heal. And that's a long time to live with that. Yeah. What's going on with you this week? Why are you here?
Well, I'm coming back to Nashville once a month.
Yes.
For a couple of days to treat some folks. So I'm over at the good Dr. Deering's office.
Yes, Justin Deering.
He's given me a little bit of space to use. So I do have a couple openings. This time of year, I mean, things just change in people's schedules and stuff. So I usually end up coming down with a couple openings, not always, but I do this time of year. So you can certainly reach out to me or to my office manager at 740-462-8604.
Hang on a second.
740-462-8604.
I'll put that number up here on
texting is the easiest way to do it for sure. So, but yeah, I think we got 3 appointments open on Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. So, I'm excited. I love it that he's back. And hello, Jade. Awesome. Jade just commented. Jade Kelly, remember my first office? Well, she was the office manager. She was the nurse. She was the cleaner. The all of that.
She wore all the hats.
I thought that I could start this practice 5.5 years ago with just me and one person. And Jade is no longer there because it number one nearly killed her, but she did an unbelievable job. She was Jade. Awesome. I know. We had a ball with Jade. It was me, Jade, and Derek. I mean, it was crazy. Jade, it's good to see you on here. Okay, this week at the office, this Thursday night, 7 p.m., we have the very first 6 Steps to Healing class. This Thursday night, you have to sign up for it on our website at DaniWilliamson.com. Allie's teaching that class. I wrote it. It's my 6 steps. Eat well, sleep well, move well. And it's a 45-minute class on how you kickstart your health. If you don't want to pay to come see me, or if you don't want to wait to get in, it's a fabulous class. You can bring a friend. You also get a free bottle of Metagenics vitamin D3. Yeah, so it's like $35 the class, but you get a $20-something bottle of, so, and it's a ton of education, and you get a lot of handouts in that as well. It's a really great, inexpensive way to kickstart your health. Harlan's back here.
Harlan's snoring.
He's snoring like crazy. That is this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Remember, we're open on Saturdays, and that has been a ball. Jackson's working the store on Saturdays, so it's me and Jackson. I normally don't work on Saturdays, of course, but now that he's back in town for probably a year, I am working with him on Saturdays, and it's been a ton of fun. Y'all wanted it open. This Saturday is my birthday. I'm going to be 54, and I'm going to work. Jackson took off on his birthday, February 1st, but I said, well, I'll work, and I love a party, so we're going to do something. I don't know what we're going to do on Saturday from 9 to 1. I'm sorry. Jackson said, put all the old people supplements on sale. That's what he said yesterday. Put the old people supplements on sale, Mom. I don't know what that would be. Jackson. Like oxy powder for pooping, Optimag Neuro for your brain. I haven't quite decided what's old yet. Brain power for your brain. I don't know, but we're going to do something. I'm going to do some sort of something. I'm 54, born 1966. 54 is the new 30. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put on sale. But anyway, you guys have a great week. Protect your liver, whatever you do. You only get one. It is very resilient. It is. It is. It takes a lot of high fructose corn syrup. It takes a lot of alcohol. Well, apparently not much alcohol, quite frankly. It takes a lot of being not moving. It takes a lot of fast food for it to start to poop out on you. But when it does, we're in trouble. Fast. And it's happening, though, earlier and earlier. Like we said, we got an epidemic with our kids. Else, So you guys, we appreciate you. This has been a great group. We're going to come off here and we're going to look and answer questions. Derek, it's Dani Williamson Wellness. You can answer any questions you want tonight or tomorrow. We appreciate you and we love you. Have a great week. It's early. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. Make sure you get ready tonight for tomorrow. Remember, however you get going in the morning is how you set up for the rest of the day. So don't get up late. Don't hit your snooze alarm. Go to bed on time, right?
Get a good cup of coffee.
Go get a good cup of coffee, organic coffee. Yes,
you got to tell me.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
I completely, when I asked him to do this, I knew he was coming. I already knew I was doing fatty liver. I totally forgot about your dad. And I am so glad your dad, Mr. Myers, if you're watching, and Miss Myers, you guys did a great job. We love Dr. Myers, and I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, it wasn't easy. They did it, but we miss you so much in Tennessee. We wish you were back here, but we know being home is better than being here any day. So we get to split him now, so that works.
Sharing time.
That's right.